I'm the worst human alive. Why did I do that? We were both wrong.
In 20 years, I'll be in the 80s and it'll be all run by people who are little now and they won't have life skills, and that's scary.
Yeah.
I'm not promoting breeding, although that's okay. Nothing wrong with breeding. But
That's good. It's good. We are in early years after all.
there's a phrase that I love.
Oh, yes, please.
Be careful with what you're teaching. It may interfere with what they're learning.
Ooh, I love that.
Hello!
Hello!
And welcome to another episode of the Tiny Chair podcast. And we're talking this week to Prerna Richards, aren't we? I'm really excited.
We are indeed. So Prerna Richards founded Together We Grow, and she is here to talk to us about turning stress into joy. So if you are feeling a bit stressed and you need some more joy in your life, this is the episode for you.
It's a stressful job. It's a stressful job in the early years, and I think it's just hopefully a few actionable tips on how to improve things if that's where you're at.
Absolutely.
Julia, what brings you joy?
Oh, crumbs. A big candy floss. Love candy floss. My sons came in second there after the candy floss.
Tough for them. That is
What
rough.
brings you joy?
It's a good question. A friend of mine recently recommended this idea of like little things of joy. I like reading the newspaper in the morning with a coffee. That makes me sound very old.
Okay, this makes my candy floss sound incredibly vapid. Like
I really like. I like when I come home and my dog like runs up to the door and tries to lick my face.
Oh right, this is outrageous. This is too
I love
poetic.
my family.
I love the sound of rain on a tin roof.
Like just
Unbelievable.
if I could pick one thing, it would just be being underneath a waterfall in nature.
The starry sky. This guy, honestly. Anyway.
But candy floss, I get it. That makes sense.
Oh,
Should we get going before you embarrass yourself
go
any
on.
further with your pathetic, joyful things?
Unbelievable. Go on, let's get going. Matt, would you introduce our guest, please?
I would absolutely love to. So our guest today is Prerna, who's been in the early childhood sector for 39 years and is now a keynote speaker, very exciting, a behaviour coach, and an NAEYC or NAEYC consultant. She's had a global career from Scotland to Hawaii to Texas and is currently joining us from over the Atlantic Ocean over in the United States of America. It's our first international guest.
International
Julia. It's
guest.
quite
I
exciting.
love it.
Prerna started Together We Grow to support those in the early years to find joy and be a bit more connected to the children and families in their area. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about stress and turning that stress into joy. And I'm very excited to welcome the wonderful Prerna Richards. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Prerna.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Matt. Delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And actually, it's going to be 40 years this year in September. So it's coming up to really close 40 years.
How are you celebrating?
Wow.
Don't know yet. We were in Hawaii and that was the celebration of the 7th anniversary of Together We Grow. So I got to do 8 sessions in Hawaii and a keynote in Hawaii. And I think that was a beautiful gift. So I don't know what the 40-year celebration will be.
I love that. Maybe we can get some, the listeners can write in.
Yeah,
what they
suggestions.
think the 40-year. What can we do to celebrate 4 decades?
That would be amazing.
It's like, what do they have with the wedding? You know, when you're married to someone and they have weird
like
stuff
a-
like paper after 20 years.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever.
a ruby or a diamond anniversary or a... Yeah, what's 40? I don't know.
It's got to be something good by that point. Doesn't it have to be like a diamond or something?
You know, we celebrated 41 years of marriage, so I should have remembered what he said when...
I like that your early years career and your marriage is intertwined almost on the same timeline.
I was 1 year married when I started this career, and our daughter is turning 40. So, I should not have said that on the podcast.
We'll edit that bit out.
Maybe she doesn't want the world to know her exact age. But that's how it started, because she came into our life. Yeah.
Julia, should we get kicked off with a classic?
Yes. So, something we like to ask all of our guests at the beginning is whether they have an early years or an early childhood ick. Do you know what an ick is? Have you come across an ick?
No idea what that is.
So if something gives you the ick, it's something that is not necessarily harmful, but something you don't like to see. So for example, I think we've had early years icks include when people sit on the table. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of an ick. So
we had
not
the clothes, the pennies things. That they
the
sometimes wear.
pinafores in settings. Yeah, so
Just things that bother you a little bit about early childhood.
Oh, I see what you
changed.
mean.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Something that makes you go, ick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
like that.
I have one. I have several. I call them triggers.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I call them triggers, things that trigger you. Yes, I do actually. The one that's bubbling up right now is when people say, good job, good job, good job. They just keep telling kids good job. And it really is irritating because when they're saying it, they're not connecting with the child. So no child knows that good job was meant for them. It feels to me like they're taking glitter and just throwing it everywhere, and it's now got stuck to the carpet and it's got stuck everywhere. And now you have to clean up the mess in aisle 6 after them. There's,
I love it.
the good job needs to mean something, and it's becoming autopilot. And you're saying it without even acknowledging a child or what they're doing. You're not even present. You're just like, good job, good job, good job. Well, who is the good job for? For yourself? It's that autopilot. Being autopilot is my ick.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? Because what does good job mean? If someone said that to me, I'd be like, well, is it the effort I put in? Is it the thing I produced? Is it that I listened to you? Is it that, what do you mean good job? What?
And it's back to a bit of a theme of the podcast recently, which is that it's like, we wouldn't do that to like other adults, would we?
Yes.
You wouldn't say to your team like, good job, okay, move on. You'd be specific and you'd be a bit more detailed about it.
So, Matt, you raised something so critical. We are saying things and doing things to children you would never to an adult. And this is a message that I think we should all just remind ourselves. The next time, before I say or do something, just ask your brain, would you do that to a grown-up? Then don't do it to a little human. It just is not respectful. It's just not connecting.
Love it. New red thread in the podcast.
Yeah,
We're talking
I like
about that a lot recently. I love it. All right, so to kind of kick off our quickfire round, now that we've got your early years ick out of the way. Great early years ick, by the way. That's the best one we've had in ages. I love it. Prerna, what is the best advice that you've ever received from someone else in your career?
The best advice that I've received is have grace on yourself. Be patient with yourself. And I think if you can't do it for yourself, you can do it for somebody else.
I love that.
That's very powerful.
How often do you in what kind of context do you find that advice is useful for you?
I think it just allows me to not have the concept that I'm perfect, because this emotion of perfectionism is really stressful and it puts too much pressure. And I've just entered a new decade of my birthday, and I'm realizing that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to prove ourselves, to show that we can do something. And that is also coming from fixed mindset, right? Like, I got to prove to you that I got this. And it just takes the pressure off if I just say, I'm good enough. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm good enough. And I did my best and I made a mistake and I haven't mastered it yet. This concept of I haven't mastered it yet, I find myself really finding grace in that, because I'm a very type A person. And I've spent my life learning and now I'm unlearning what I had learned. And I think maybe I was not very gracious to myself all these years, because I talked down to myself. I was critical to myself. I was, all of that angle. And I think that all comes from this angle of, it just adds pressure and it sucks the joy out. And I'm on this mission to just find joyful moments. And I think having grace on yourself and being kind to yourself, the thoughts that you have in your brain, right? Like the self-talk that we have is really powerful. And if you want children to grow up resilient with positive self-talk, you got to role model that. So I'm applying what I'm telling somebody else to do on myself.
It's so true, though. I think it's so easy to be your own worst critic. I know I am. Like, if somebody else makes a mistake, I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. We're all human. It happens. It's okay. Let's fix it together. And if I do it, I'm like, I'm the worst human alive. Why did I do that? Like,
I have to tell you a secret. So I have named that critique in my brain. She's called Edith.
Ooh.
Nice. That is a great name for a self-critical
Edith.
goblin.
I also actually have an image of Edith. I had a friend of mine draw Edith, because Edith comes out swinging. Oh my God, what a stupid person you are. Like, oh my God, you idiot. You don't know this. And oh my God. So I'm like, Edith, I see you. And shh, you're okay. I don't need to hear from you right now. It's okay if I make a mistake. It's okay, Edith. It's okay. We got this, Edith.
Yeah.
So I found it really powerful. And I think Edith has come alive for about 1.5 years now. And when you name her, it takes her power away. And then if you draw her, make her visual, she really doesn't have much power, because you can call her out. So my husband got in the game with me now. So he has negative Norman and I have Edith.
That's nice.
Norman and Edith. What are you up to?
Amazing. And I love the idea that Edith probably never talks like to anyone else, right?
Never. She doesn't show up for
Never as
anything else.
critical.
Never, ever. And so I'm like, wow, Edith, really? Wow. She, when I'm giving a keynote and speaking, she'll always criticize me in the morning. Is that what you're going to wear? Oh my God, is that how you're going to look? Oh my God. I'm like, Edith, I see you. Thank you for showing up. I'm good. You can leave now. Right? Like, it's, I think it just makes it playful and fun, and recognize that, we're giving too much power away to our self-critique.
Julia, what are you going to call your inner critic?
Oh, crumbs. Edith is such a good name. I don't know if I can follow.
You can borrow Edith. As I fly around, I'm constantly asking people, should I leave Edith here? They're like, no, take her with you. You can borrow Edith, Julia.
Yeah, maybe I'll borrow Edith. Oh, apologies to any Ediths out there. I'm sure you're all lovely people.
So I have to tell you a story. This is really funny. I was speaking somewhere and somebody in the audience was cracking up, and I had to ask her, is everything okay? And she said, my mother is called Edith.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, Mum.
Yeah, amazing.
What are you going to call, Matt? What's your inner person?
It feels a bit weird because we have a very lovely man with this name at family, but somehow it just feels right. I think Sebastian.
Oh.
Sebastian, just like a little...
Sebastian is a lovely
I'm
man
kind
as
of
well.
imagining a sort of a French man who's very like, ooh, is that what you're doing?
Oh, interesting.
Sebastian.
Okay. He's
That's
got
kind
an
of what I'm
accent
thinking.
as well.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
If I can find a picture of Edith, I will show it to you. I mean, it would take some digging, so I don't
Love
want to
it.
get
I love
distracted with our conversation. But yeah, she's very stern looking, and she's more like a librarian.
Maybe you can send it to us afterwards, and Mikkel can add it in the edit.
Okay, I'll do
Oh,
that.
I love that. Yeah.
This is where we give Mikkel loads of work to do in the edit.
sorry.
He's like, oh, damn it. Julia.
Mikkel's critique voice is called Matt and Julia.
I did say she looks like a librarian. I have nothing against librarian. I respect the profession. She just had a very stern face. So I'm sorry.
Shout out Edith. Shout out librarians.
Shout out
We don't hate
librarians.
you.
Yeah, we love you. We love you. Thank you for serving a purpose. We love you.
Now, Prerna, you have a weekly email series called Lessons Learned from Little Humans, I understand. So what is a lesson that you've learned from a little human?
Unconditional love.
Aww. I
That's
love
nice.
that.
Yeah, I have 4 little humans in my life, 4 grandchildren. And to be completely fair and honest, that newsletter started off weekly and that was too much pressure. So now it's no longer weekly. It is once a month now. And as it happens, I'm literally very intentionally taking things out that create stress and pressure in my life. So that became a thing, and I don't want to do a thing. I'm doing it just for joy.
Nice. I
So
like it.
yeah, so took the pressure off. It goes out once a month. And I'm reminded how children tend to forgive us and love us unconditionally. And they reset every time. And I think this is a quality we can learn from them.
I love that.
Love that. And it's so true, isn't it? It's like that
Yeah.
thing of where children they don't understand that they're not just meant to hug you if they like you.
Yeah.
I love that kind of element of just the joy and love that comes from
Yeah.
little people.
Spilling out.
It's totally true.
Yeah.
You've attended, Prerna, and spoken at events all over the world, at least from our research. It seems like many, many cool places.
Yeah,
Is there
gosh.
somewhere that stands out as most exciting, somewhere that was particularly memorable that you really loved?
100% Hawaii takes and maybe it's because it's the most recent one. I was just there in July, and there was a room of about 270 people. And if I had to describe the emotion in that room, there was open-heartedness, there was love, there was open-mindedness, there was definitely joy. And it ended with a spontaneous song, which absolutely blew my mind away. We used to live in Hawaii, and it was 30 years fast forward, and my teaching career had started in Hawaii. We were in Scotland, and I had done the nursery teacher certification, but we had ended up in Hawaii, and that's where my teaching career started. That's when the first time I became a director of curriculum. And going back to that place where I had started, where my roots of early childhood were, and then being invited to do a keynote was really quite spectacularly remarkable. And at the end of it, I said, when I was teaching here, we used to sing the song at every graduation, at every event. It was something to do with the family, and I can't remember the words. And literally the room erupted with the song, We Are Family. And everybody was singing and they were clapping. And I was like, this feels incredible. Like it was an experience, like it was an event, and nothing that I did. It was a collective feeling. We all got swept up in it.
I love the idea. I think that idea of instantaneous song. We don't do that in the UK, do we? We're a little too repressed to do instantaneous song, I think.
At sports events?
Sports events, true.
suppose.
Football chants.
Yeah, if you...
Football chants, that's true. It has to
think
be
that
inside a
counts,
nice,
yeah.
neat box of sports.
And it wasn't something that was planned. I think that the spontaneity of it and the joyous eruption of it was just so unexpected and delightful at the same time. And I was blown away. And I think forever that's going to live as an event in my brain that just touched on many levels.
So
I love
cool.
that. What's the funniest thing that a child's ever said to you?
Oh my God. Children say silly and funny things all the time without meaning to, right?
Yeah,
They really do.
they do.
Just this week, our youngest granddaughter, she is 2.5, and she went to the dentist. And the dentist told her now she's getting a big girl and she should give away the passies, the
Pacifier,
that. And so she should think about giving that away, and maybe she could send it to other children, other babies who need it. And, that's something to think about. She could put it in a box and mail it to new babies. And so when she got in the car, my daughter asked her, she said, Emma, so what would you like for a gift for becoming a big girl? And Emma thought about it for a minute and she said, more passies, please.
Oh, bless.
I like that.
She saw a loophole in the system and took it.
She's not ready to give up her passies to no baby right now. So she just would like to have more passies. Thank you very much.
Do you know one thing that's a great bit of Danish law? Because me and Julia are both from the UK, but we live here in Denmark where family's based. And in Denmark, they have this tradition, or at least right near where I live, where when the children get to a certain age, they take their dummies or pacifiers and actually also sometimes their teddy bears and they string them up to a tree. And it's cute in some ways, but this one particularly by my house, the stuff has been there for so long. It's like the bears have started to grow into the tree and they're rotten and it's actually so terrifying.
Yeah, it's a bit... yeah.
It's pretty scary, isn't it? The first time I saw it, I was like, that is creepy.
Yeah, I had to get my Danish husband to explain it to me the first time. I was like, why on earth are there so many dummies in that tree? What on earth is that about? And
How interesting. So our younger daughter lives in Switzerland. And she had done something very similar with her children to tie it to the tree. I did not realize it was a Danish culture tradition.
I wonder if it's in other European countries then.
Pretty cool.
Although I have never seen big trees full of it, I do agree with you. It would feel a little creepy after the
It's quite
rain.
creepy.
Isn't it?
Once the toys start getting real rotten, it's a little dodgy.
Somebody should be like, chop, 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 get it done.
Yeah, there needs to be a keeper of the trees. I think. Yeah, agreed.
Isn't that the Lorax?
Yeah, true. It is the Lorax. We need a Danish Lorax.
Or maybe it needs to become part of your own yard. Like you tie it in your own tree in your own yard. Maybe it doesn't need to be public spaces.
Keep your litter to yourself, Denmark. That's exactly where we're at. I'm going to ask you, Prerna, before we move on to the meat of the episode. I want to know what children's book do you think? I notice you have a bunch of wonderful books behind you. What children's book do you think should be required reading for every adult? You can force every adult in the world to read this children's book. What would you pick?
Wow, that is an interesting question. I do like this one. Maybe it's a sweet one. I think it allows grown-ups to recognize that every child is born with potential gifts and talents. And I think we should all be aware of it. And I think we should all recognize it, that we should see children as individuals who are capable, intelligent, and smart. And they're born with gifts and talents that only that little human has. And nurture that, right? Like not crush it, not make it into something, just nurture that. I think it's a nice way to look at every child and say, you may be this, and maybe you'll be this, and maybe you'll be this, or I don't know what you'll be. And I'm going to nurture whoever you maybe become,
Lovely.
I love
Gorgeous book. And that's maybe by...
It is written by Kobi Yamada, illustrated by Gabrielle. Wow, so
Amazing.
Gorgeous.
For the video viewers, the book is now on the screen. Check that out. We can put that in the
lovely.
show notes. That's good. More work
I
from
think we
Nicole.
should.
it has beautiful drawings. Like it's not children's drawings. I think it's illustrations is how I would describe that.
I love that. I think illustrators are pretty underrated. I think is it Quentin Blake who does a bunch of beautiful illustrations. I think that's such a key part of children's books.
Yeah, I think allowing children to dream and allowing adults to allow them to dream, and also for adults to not know what little package in this treasure is going to be revealed as the life gets older, and what little treasures are we going to discover, which then also just takes it back to you as a grown-up. What treasures do you have that you haven't discovered about yourself, and what treasures are you born to share with the world? All of us have treasures inside us, and let's do a treasure hunt, and let's find that treasure to share with the world, and also let children believe that whatever it is, you already have it.
That's beautiful. I love
Amazing.
that. We should do more internal treasure hunting.
More internal treasure
Yeah.
hunting. It's funny, I'm about to become a dad for the first time, and it is interesting because it really makes you think a little bit about the things that you care about yourself, and also the things you still want to work on in a totally new way. There's something about the onset of a child being into this world and how you're going to sort of nurture them that does make you think about, what have I got left to do still somehow.
There's a phrase that I love, be careful with what you're teaching. It may interfere with what they're learning. And I think it applies to parents and it applies to teachers. If we believe that every child has treasure in them and every child has potential and every child is born to serve a purpose, and our job is to nurture it, to be the gardeners, right? To give the right soil and to nurture this, and not to make a rose into a sunflower and sunflower into a rose, right? Accept the child that's been given to you and nurture the child that's been given to you. Whether you're teaching or parenting, it doesn't matter your role, right? Our job is to nurture you so that you blossom.
Gorgeous.
Lovely.
Let's get into it then, Julia.
Yes.
It's time.
I thought we were already into
That was just the start. That was
Further
the very,
into
very
it.
brief, short introduction that we always
Goodness.
manage to make last at least half an hour.
Well, it's always interesting, isn't it?
That's
the
the
interesting
podcast
stuff.
done. Thank you.
So we want to talk about turning stress into joy for early years educators, their leaders, anybody in the early years workforce, basically. But from your sort of current work, what are the common reasons that you're hearing for stress in early years workplaces?
A lot of overwhelm in terms of behaviors, stressed out because children are acting worse than they were, being rude, not listening, behaviors, right? And then also feeling themselves very constrained with time, and just feeling like you got to get a lot done. So just the sense of a lot is being asked of us in this period of life and time and humanity, and everybody's feeling the pressures of it.
Interesting. It makes a lot of sense. Is it something you've noticed, that this kind of change in maybe the strength or type of behaviors since the pandemic, for example, is something I've heard a lot of, is that it feels like the behavior has been more challenging, or that the stress that's on the educators themselves has been more challenging as a result?
Yes, it comes up a lot. Post-pandemic, pre-pandemic, these words are being thrown around. And here's what I think is happening. Children are resilient and they bounce and they move on. Grown-ups are still thinking about this collective trauma that we went through, and we haven't been able to turn the page. So we keep referencing it. And I think what the pandemic did was put more on our plates, even though it gave us the flexibility to work from home. It gave us these options. And so now more people are doing these flex schedules, working from home and going to work. And what happens is, when you're working from home, you are still taking care of everything else. So I think the pressures keep adding on it. And here's my message for early childhoods, or just in education in general. I think it's time for us to collectively turn the page and just say, what can I do to deal with this stress, and stop referencing it since then, post then. Yes, acknowledging that something happened to our collective brains, that we were more stressed and more overwhelmed and more feeling the pressures, that maybe something got exposed, or maybe something that was being suppressed is now out. What do we do with it? What is the strategy to cope with it, instead of just saying, oh, that's happening? Children are acting out worse now. Well, what are you going to do about it? That child is only 4 once. Some of the children, so our grandson was born during COVID. He just turned 5, right? That was the year. So I can see it. At what point are we going to say, I have to give you the life skills? Because 90% of the brain development happens birth to 5. So The children who are under 5 right now don't know anything about the COVID.
It's time to move on. Yeah.
Our younger granddaughter, who's 2.5, has no reference of COVID. Our grandson, who's 5, was born during COVID. He doesn't really know anything different. Whatever childhood was given was given. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
From a child's perspective, I don't understand what the stress is. All I know is you yell at me, you scream at me, you're impatient with me, you're reactive with me, and I don't feel loved and I don't feel like I belong. So I act out.
I guess to sort of expand on it a little bit, what happens if we don't get this kind of stress in the sector under control? Where are we headed if we can't, put the brakes on?
It's a really precarious time where we're at right now. I am really recognizing how serious this is because we're going to let the next generation down. That's what's going to happen. The next generation is not going to be raised with life skills. And life skills I'm talking about are problem solving, critical thinking, creative thinking, expressing our emotions. These are things that many of us, I'm now in my 60s, we were not raised with it. We were raised with a certain resilient mindset because we played on our own and we figured stuff out. So a lot of things have changed for the next generation. Children are not allowed to have autonomy and they're not problem solving and they're not figuring it out for themselves. They're just having a meltdown. And parents are like, oh, I can't make you disappointed. Oh, I can't bear it if you're disappointed. But disappointment is an emotion. Get comfortable with it. You're going to feel it, right? So teach our children what to do with it instead of just covering it up with an Amazon, like, let me buy you a gift because you're so sad and disappointed. So yes, we are at a precarious time. We're at a crossroad. And if we don't do something different, we're going to fail our next generation with life skills that they need and brain development that they need, right? Like 90% is such a huge part. It's happening birth to 5. So
Completely agree.
what foundations are we laying in our children's brains that's going to take them forever? I'm really
So
worried
true.
because, the world is going to be run by, in 20 years, I'll be in the 80s and it'll be all run by people who are little now and they won't have life skills, and that's scary.
So if I'm a setting manager now, I'm an early years manager and I'm looking and reflecting on my team and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can see that these guys are really stressed. I can see some signs here that they might be really struggling. Either what should I be looking for that should be ringing bells for me, and what can I do if I notice those signs in my team?
So let me take those 3 parts. One, if I'm a leader, and what signs do I look that my team is stressed? And then what can I do about it? And then even recognizing the stress is even present. So stress typically shows up in early childhood programs with adults speaking at kids, not with kids. That's a sign that they're reactive. They're not present, they're not slow, they're not being patient, they're reactive. So that's one sign. Are you hearing more grown-up voices in your building as you walk up and down if you're a leader of early childhood? Do you hear more teachers talking at the kids, not with the kids? Are you hearing crying, yelling, screaming from the kids and the adults reacting? Or are you hearing, soothing laughter and calm and exploration, right? So that's one thing. What does the vibe of your school feel like? Are people feeling rushed and hurried and overwhelmed, or are they settled in themselves? So that's one thing. Now you recognize that, oh my God, yes, I can relate to this. I walk down the halls and I just know exactly the person who's raising her voice to control the kids, because sound is the most used sense to dominate and aggress, because we use it, we raise our voice, we control the kids with it, we yell across the room instead of walking up to kids, right? Like sound is really one very obvious sense that gets used when we are under stress, right? So now that you've noticed it and you've heard it, because you've heard the crying, you've heard the screaming, and you've heard the talking and the tones, what do you do about it? Acknowledge and validate. Don't pretend it's not happening, right? Like, okay, I can feel the stress in here. So acknowledge and validate, because stress is real and it's never going to go away. It's part of who we are as humans. The goal is not to eliminate it. The goal is to learn coping skills so that we don't get overwhelmed by it, to manage it, right? To self-regulate ourselves and to help children regulate. And so once you've done acknowledge and validate with your team. What systems do you have in place? What kind of a culture are you creating? What social culture are you creating? Is this becoming a school family? Or is this becoming a competitive space? Are teachers competing against each other, or are they truly in it together? Are we in it together, creating school families in individual classrooms? That grown up has to think like you and me with the kids. So if I have 12 kids and that's 13 brains in this classroom. We're not one dominating the 12. We are a family of 13 brains, right? How can I meet your needs? How can I meet my needs? There's simple things you can do, to weave in self-regulation, like breathing, become a breathing program. Like, it's a simple thing to do. There's so much research that's talked about breathing programs. And yet most of us are not taking deep breaths. Most of the kids are not taking deep breaths, right? Like you've got to put systems in your place. You also have to have the brain knowledge conversation with your staff. When we know better, we do better. Most people don't know about the brain development. Most people don't know about the brain states. They don't know we have 3 brain states and how it shows up in behaviors, right? So it's educating, acknowledging, validating, and then doing something about it, because we got to do better.
What are some of the things you do, Julia, when you're stressed? What's your what are some of your coping strategies?
Do you know what? It really depends what it is. So like I know that in my heart, when I get upset about something, I'm very reactive. So I know that if something goes wrong for me, as you know, I'm a bit of a catastrophizer. And so I'll go up in my emotions. And then I just need a little bit of time to process and calm down and have a word with myself. So for me, it's time. It's time to just be like, do you know what? I know that I'm reacting very strongly here. I'm having really strong emotions. I need to just wait for my body to calm down. And whether that's taking some time away from what's upsetting me, whether that's, like you said, doing some breathing, whether that's engaging in some of my own self-regulating activities, watching something that I like, or so for me, it's the main thing for me is recognizing that immediate emotion isn't the true kind of it's not the true reflection of the situation. It's never as bad as my body immediately seems to want me to think it is.
That's fair. I think for me, one thing I learned really interesting from a friend who used to work here. She said she met a trauma nurse who used to work in like A&E. And she said that there's science that suggests that pushing really, really hard against a wall is really, really good. So you find like a really solid concrete wall and you just try and push against it with all your energy. And there's apparently something in the science of grounding yourself in the fact that you're not really that powerful and that you can't move the wall and that you're kind of just getting the energy out into the wall that apparently somehow changes things.
So I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that you mentioned. Is it okay if we go deeper with some of these things?
Yes, please.
Of course. I would love a free therapy session, yeah.
We talked about regulation, and I want to pick up that word regulation, right? Like, because we use it very often, and most of us don't know exactly what it means and how do we help children to do that, right? So if I was to ask you, how would you define regulation? What would you say?
I'd say it's the ability to kind of recognize where you're at with your feelings. And then with that knowledge, how can you do something to either remediate it or allow it to be bearable in order that it doesn't destroy you?
Yeah, when I feel unregulated, it's like I'm at a loss of the emotion.
Yeah, if I'm dysregulated,
Whereas
I'm
being
unable
able
to
to
kind of think
recognise,
straight.
yeah.
So What do you think? Where are we at?
You're right on the right target, and you hit on some key points. So regulation actually has 3 parts to it. The first part is, what am I feeling? What caused it? And what can I do to help myself? Right? Yes. So regulating ourselves intentionally and purposely throughout the day. What am I feeling right now? What was the thing that caused it? And what am I going to do to help myself right here, right now? What you're talking about, Julia, in a minute was awareness. And that's what self-awareness does with self-regulation. It starts to label the steps. So the more we practice self-regulation throughout the day, constantly just keep checking in with yourself. What are you feeling? What caused it? How can I help myself? Like, just start having this self-talk, right? Then we can co-regulate. When you think of co-regulating, what comes to your mind? What is that?
I mean, I can speak in the context of with my sons. So for me, it's almost like being a calm in their storm, if that makes sense. Yes. So like when they're losing their little minds, bless them, over something, doesn't matter what it is, I try very hard to not so much meet them where they're at, but be that kind of solid presence of, okay, I'm here, I see that, you're favorite cup isn't available. It's in the dishwasher. Like, I'm sorry about that. We can't open the dishwasher because it's on and the water will go everywhere. We're just going to have to wait. Can we find another one? And just that kind of calm, I don't know how else to explain it. That calm presence.
You did it beautifully. So yeah, there's a phrase, right? Like, download your calm, don't upload their stress.
Ooh, I love that.
Download your calm, don't upload their stress. And what you said with the example of the cup in the dishwasher, you're acknowledging, I understand you want it, and you'll be the first one. Actually, we had that with our grandson when he was 2. He was having a meltdown with the blue spoon, right? He wanted it. It was in the dishwasher. So
You can tell this is a problem that's happened in my house.
Yeah. Just something off the top of my head, nothing,
So co-regulation means exactly what you were doing for yourself is self-regulating. You do it for a child. What is that child feeling? What caused it? How can you help themselves? Oh, so you're feeling really, really frustrated right now because you wanted the blue cup, right? Name the emotion, what caused it, how can we help ourselves right now? Maybe we could take some deep breaths, calm down, wait for the dishwasher. You can wait in front of the dishwasher if that's what makes your heart happier, right? Like, we're validating that your emotion, whatever it was generated from, blue cup, blue spoon, doesn't matter. The point is it was real for the child. So acknowledging and validating that you are feeling this emotion and this caused it, and what can you do right now to help yourself? And I think if grown-ups co-regulate children throughout the day, they hear it. I've seen teachers do it beautifully, and I was in a classroom and this teacher was naming the emotions constantly. I was like, you have nailed this. You're my hero right now. I'm so admiring what you're doing. So children were getting irritated, especially little girl, Sophie. She was working on some glitter and glue, and she started going, So it was just starting. It hadn't even escalated. She just started it. And the sweet teacher, Tracy, caught it. She was like, oh, Sophie, I see that you're getting a little irritated. Oh, what caused it? You have glitter and glue stuck to your finger. Do you want to pause? Do you want to go wash your hands before you continue? Like, this teacher was just co-regulating throughout the day. And then the lunch was late, so the kids were getting antsy, and she called it. You guys are getting impatient. The lunch is late. What can we do? Let's do some finger play. I was so impressed. I'm like, these kids are going to know what they're feeling, and they're going to be so regulated because somebody's normalizing what they're feeling in a very natural way. And so they're growing up with co-regulation without even knowing it. The other thing that I wanted to touch was stress. Julia, you said something that when you get reactive. So stress has 2 ways of showing up. There's only 2 ways. One, it comes out of us. We take it out on others. We get reactive, we get impatient, we get snappy, all the words come out. Or we just suppress it and push it down. So we shut down or we take it out. There's only 2 ways that stress shows up. And recognizing which is it for you is then we need to have a coping skill behind it. So when I get stressed out, I also react, right? That's my way of showing up. I don't shut down. I don't suppress it. I take it out. I need to know that that's how I cope with stress because it's coming out of me. And I need to know that maybe I can yell all of that out to somebody else. So now I have started having a coping skill for myself. I call it my flow writing. So when I'm feeling really worked up, instead of spewing it out on somebody, I know it has to come out of my body because that's my coping skill. I write it down.
Oh, yeah. This was one of the things I was going to say earlier. That's the main thing I do when I'm really stressed is I just write it until I'm done.
Give it to the paper.
Give it to the paper,
Give it to the paper.
It's called the flow writing. You let your pen write, and when the pen stops, you stop, and you have choices because Edith is not controlling your brain. You are controlling your brain. And you have a choice. I can either read it, I can ignore it, I can rip it and burn it, or I can keep it.
I'm a burner. I like to burn the paper when I'm done.
Yeah,
creepy.
That's giving yourself coping skills, right? Like you're learning to cope with stress.
I love it.
So I carry a flow journal everywhere I go. I write on airports, sitting in places. Sometimes I can't actually remember the time that I've actually gone back and read what my pen has written because that's not necessary. I just need it out of me.
Amazing. And I guess one thing I really wanted to ask while you're talking about this co-regulation piece, I think it's so interesting. And I wonder if bringing it back to that level of maybe the staff rather than the staff with the children, but rather than with the children, sorry, is if you're in this situation that Julia describes where you maybe start to realise that the staff at your, setting or centre are starting to exhibit quite a lot of signs of stress, how do you, as a leader, co-regulate with the staff to kind of bring them to a place where maybe they can start to recognise what's going on?
So what I've learned about helping somebody else is you got to help yourself first. So if you're a leader, you need to know your own triggers first. This is one of the things that we do in the coaching, work on our triggers. So you got to make a list of your triggers. What is triggering you? Who is triggering you? What are they doing that is triggering you, right? Like, I can't give you what I don't have. So if I can't regulate myself, there's no way I can help you to regulate. So start with your triggers and then help your staff to know their triggers. And then the staff can then help the children know the triggers. You see how the domino effect happens. And then you create an environment where you make it normal to talk about triggers and coping skills and having a plan. So instead of just reacting that, oh, when this person is late or tardy or has an attitude, the leader gets triggered. So what is your coping skill? So the next time that person is tardy, what are you going to do? What is your plan? Because that person is going to be tardy. How you deal with it? So the trigger work and the stress work is not for somebody else. It's for your brain. The more calm brains we have, the better we off we are, right?
I was just reflecting there on how far we've come in terms of practice and co-regulation in the early years. Because back when I was still practicing, it was so common when children got upset about something for us to kind of take it upon ourselves to either distract them or tell them that, oh, you're all right, you're fine. Oh, don't be silly, you're all right. Stan, you're all right. Come on. And just do this like weird kind of shh of their emotions, which is just, now with all the things we know about the importance of like you say, naming emotions and allowing children to develop the ways that make them feel better. But we were so busy just being like, come on. It's so invalidating, right? Like,
and so something really fascinating what you just said, right? Like, so yeah, we did the you're all right. I also did the eyes, right? Remember the eyes? Like you would look at a child and a child would just know how to correct themselves. Or are you guys too young to not know the eyes?
No, you do the... This is no good for audio listeners, but
I still get that from my girlfriend from time to time, to be fair.
Yeah, so the look was a thing, right? And also I think the overwhelm and the stress was not as much as it is now. This is another way of thinking of the overwhelm and stress right now. Remember there was a saying that said, I have too much on my plate. Well, I don't have a plate anymore. It's a buffet table. Like, where's the plate? It's become a buffet table. Right? Yeah. Like people just keep adding to it. And also we are doing that to ourselves, right? This device, you're like accessible 24/7. Anybody could ding bing you any time of the day. Remember back in the day when this didn't exist and people had to leave a voice message, and if there was a mail message, then you could leave a message, and when the person had time, they would call you back.
Yeah, leaving the house. That's it. Bad luck if you want to get hold of me. Like, you're nowhere near a phone.
It was nice, wasn't it?
So a lot has been added to our plate. A lot has been added to our brain, and we are expecting a lot of our brain. And we're demanding a lot from our brain. So is it a surprise that most of us are feeling overstressed and overwhelmed because we don't have downtime? So yeah, back in the day when we could say, you're fine, you're all right, we were much calmer ourselves. The children were much calmer, and collectively we could balance it out. Now, the demands on all of us is so much. So what used to work is not going to work because the same coping skills won't work. We now have to recognize that I am feeling this. And we're going to have to figure it out. Nobody's coming to save us, guys. Nobody's coming to save us. We got to save ourselves.
Matthew, seeing as we are talking to Prerna about turning stress into joy, I'm wondering if you know what brings our customers joy.
Is it the children?
It is the children. It's spending more time with the children. And do you know what allows them to spend more time with the children?
Is it us?
It is us. It's family. So don't take my word for it, though. In a minute, you're going to hear from Prakash, who is the manager of Keto in Clerkenwell, and she's telling us all about how they use family in their setting to give them more time with the children.
This is my imaginary popcorn.
Oh, great. Okay.
Using family gives me time back in my day, and that time can actually be used to spend with the children. That's the favourite part of my day. There's no point of being in an office 8 to 6 when you can't actually see the children flourish and grow within what you've created in your own environment. It just enables your day that much more, and the key word is enable, because you're able to do so much more by just a couple of clicks, and that's all it is. So it's my favourite thing.
Gosh, that was good, wasn't it?
It was. And if you would like to hear more from Prakash or any of our other customers, you can find the link down below, and you can also watch the customer stories on our website.
Back to the potty.
Back to the podcast. I would love it if you would lead us in becoming a breeding program. No, a breathing program. Goodness me.
I'm not promoting breeding, although that's okay. Nothing wrong with breeding, but
That's good. It's good. We are in early years after all.
For the purposes of this podcast, though, definitely breathing.
So I have a handout. I do have a handout, and I can send that to you link. So it's on my website. Actually, if you go to togetherwegrow.online, if you go to downloads, there is a breathing program. So anybody can become a breathing program. There's specific steps in it. Anybody can become a breathing program. The thing about breathing is some fun facts, just some fun facts that we don't know. When you stand up and take a deep breath, it's more effective than if you were sitting down. Did you know that? Okay. Did you know that?
We're going to struggle to stand up, I think.
Yeah, we're not going to do that because you're all mic'd up right now. But take a guess why standing up would be different than sitting down.
Oh, something about the
lungs?
Nervous system.
You get more lungs, I think.
Oh, maybe your diaphragm isn't as contracted when you kind of sit down like that.
Julia, you were on something.
Oh, we were both wrong.
So your nervous system gets activated when you stand up because you have nerves in your feet and they run all the way to your brain. When you move your body and you stand up, your brain is more alert and it's focusing more. So when you take a deep breath, it activates your entire nervous system, and the benefit of the oxygen is more. And you said the right thing, it expands your lungs and diaphragm. So you get more of oxygen in and you take the stale oxygen out, right? You put fresh oxygen in. Most of us are not doing deep breathing, we're doing shallow breathing. So that's the other part, right? Like putting your hand on your diaphragm and actually feeling it expand and go in. That's deep breathing and exercising your lungs.
That was my osteopath said to me recently I wasn't using my chest. I was just using my diaphragm. She was like, you're not really breathing properly. You're not filling your lungs.
Yeah.
You're not breathing properly is quite a critique to
It
get,
is
I have to
critique,
say.
I was a bit worried.
No, but it's a thing, right? Like it's a thing. The research I read was very high. I can't remember the percentage. It was 80-some%. Most of us are not breathing properly. So we're not taking full advantage of the oxygen to reduce stress. And oxygen is linked to stress hormones, right? Like it's linked to that. There's a lot of research out there that's linked to it. And it's free and it's cheap and it's available and we have it and we're not accessing it.
That's mad.
I love it.
Moving on from that, actually, I wanted to talk a bit about the stop, breathe, anchor approach. Now we've learned a bit about breathing. How can we then add it into our arsenal? Yeah.
You have done your homework.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so I came up with this acronym by myself, SPA, all by myself. And here's the brain science behind that. I don't know if you know this or not. When we have a reaction, when we have an emotion, it's like a chemical release that happens in our brain. So you feel frustration, you feel anger, you feel rage, you feel embarrassed, you feel something. It's a chemical release in our brain that lasts for 4 seconds. So think about that. There's an emotion that bubbles up. The chemical release happens in the brain. It lasts for 4 seconds. And if you act on that window of 4 seconds, like the emotion has just been released and something comes out of your mouth or you do or say something, it escalates. If you do nothing, this is where the SPA comes in. SPA yourself. And what the research is saying is 90 seconds. So stop, breathe, and anchor yourself for 90 seconds. 90 seconds is 3 deep breaths. Or 90 seconds is counting up to 90. Or however you want to get to 90 seconds. If you can pause your brain for 90 seconds, the reaction that you would have had for that chemical release won't happen.
Brilliant.
Interesting.
Try it out, my friends. Try it out. It is magic. I'm right now trying it with my grandkids. I had the grandkids over the other day, and for some reason, our 12-year-old was arguing about something. It was irrelevant because she's 12, so she argues about everything. because she knows everything.
It's what they do, yeah.
We don't know anything. And so she's arguing about something, and I caught myself, and I was just getting like, oh my God, this is so silly. We're arguing about feeding the fish. Like, it is so ridiculous. We should not be arguing about this. So I caught myself, and I literally was watching my watch for 90 seconds, and I took 3 deep breaths, and she was doing her thing. And because I didn't do anything, it didn't escalate, and it dropped. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. Like, this whole concept of 4 seconds and 90 seconds, take it for a trial run. Don't believe me. Check it out. See if it works.
It's a little like, we, a family internally here, we have this thing called Slack, which is like WhatsApp, but for businesses. It's like how we talk to each other. And I always have this rule, like, don't Slack in anger. And it's exactly that. It's like, if you get something and you're like, that's really annoying, I don't want to deal with that right now, or you've really frustrated me, so close the laptop, go for a walk, come back. And every single time, I'm not as mean as I want to be the first time.
So 2 things are happening, right? So the emotion is bubbling up, and then it goes back to self-awareness and regulation, right? Like, can you see how it's all connected? Like, I can see the emotion bubbling up, I can watch it, I can witness it, and now I have a coping skill. And so when I'm in a classroom and it's very loud and screaming and yelling, that happens to be my trigger. I'm telling you, I have a long list of triggers and icks, like you call them icks, right? I have a long list. So if I'm in a classroom and children are screaming and yelling, I'm getting all triggered. So I have to SBA myself in the moment. And the way I do that is I have a sentence in my brain. I got this. So Edith is not jumping up. So I'm managing my brain. I got this. I'm taking my deep breaths. I'm wiggling my toes in my shoes. So I'm doing 3 things: self-talk, breathing, and physical movement with my toes. Before I say or do anything, I have not reacted to it. It takes practice. I will tell you, it doesn't come naturally, but if anybody is wanting to put in the work.
I love how actionable it is, Prerna. I think lots of really good stuff here.
Exactly.
I do have a few more questions I want to get through. And the first one is that, you talk, it's kind of related to some of the stuff that we've been discussing. And you talk a lot, I think, in your work around like changing your vocabulary a bit to cause a mindset shift. So you talk, for example, about, saying, I have to, I have to, I have to. Can you expand a little bit on that idea of how changing your vocabulary can help the way you approach things?
Oh my gosh, huge. So I haven't mastered anything yet. So I don't want to come across as the expert of anything, right? Like, I'm in it myself. I'm trying to practice this on myself. What I have learned is that when you use the word have to, it somehow makes your brain feel like a burden. It somehow already stresses your brain out. Like, I have to do the dishes, I have to cook, I have to clean. Like, already it feels like, oh, I have to. And so you got to trick your brain into changing the vocabulary from have to want to get to. I want to make the dinner. I want to do the dishes. I want to clean. It somehow feels like there's a choice and I'm wanting this, and it feels less voluntold and put on me versus I'm choosing. So there's some magic there with shifting vocabulary from have to want to and get to. The other thing I'm realizing is that when we complain and compare, so these 2 C words, complaining about anything or comparing ourselves or our situation to anything, brings stress. Because immediately I'm feeling less than. Immediately my attention is going to something that is not going right. And you know what brings joy? So we haven't talked enough about joy. We focus a lot on stress. So we need to shift our perception. A lot is happening in here, not outside, in our brain. So if you want to go from stress to joy, you have to replace the complaining and comparing to gratitude. The minute you're grateful for something, it takes stress out and brings joy in. It's not the big things, it's the little things in our brains. And to recognize that, okay, I was complaining about the weather, and now I could just be grateful that I'm enjoying whatever it is, right? Like, oh, I'm so glad today is cloudy, right? Like, I'm so grateful it's cloudy because it's less hot, versus saying, oh, it's so cloudy. Why is it so cloudy? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Do you know what? I love a moan though. This is something I'm definitely going to have to work on.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's because I'm a very verbal processor. So when I'm having feelings or I'm thinking about something or something's on my mind, talking is my kind of way to
I've had to learn that about you. Sometimes, I'll catch you in the middle of something and you'll, blah at me
Yeah.
and I get it full barrel. So I go, okay. And, I co-regulate Julia beautifully and we get there and you leave a little happy. And then the next day I say, Julia, are you feeling all right about that thing yesterday? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I just love to,
Get it out.
yeah, get it out. It's like the flow journal.
Yeah, the thing about mourning is that your brain is listening to it. That's the thing. This is what I'm realizing. That, we forget how powerful our brain is. And I think if we tell our brain, this is really bad and things are not going well, it's going to believe it. It's going to be like, oh my God, it's really bad. Or if I tell my brain, things are going really well, it's really good. And it's going to be, things are going really well. Our brain is like a toddler. It believes whatever you tell it. So choose what you're telling your brain. Choose what you're telling your brain. This is really hard. Oh, it's really hard. Life is so tough. Oh, life is so tough. Oh no, life is really good. We got this. Life is good. We got this. It just follows whatever you feed it. Your brain has no way of filtering good, bad, or in between. Whatever you feed it, and however loud Edith is, whatever you feed it, it believes it.
Shout out episode 6 with Tom Richardson when you talked about the these are the good times.
No, that was Tom's advice.
Wasn't that episode 6?
Oh dear me, I've no idea.
Oh, you mean Tom's advice?
But it was Tom's advice to say that you have to say these are the good old days.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel better.
There's a lot of research with mindset. There's a lot of research with self-talk. There's a lot of research because words matter. Words matter greatly.
Amazing. Yeah. That's a lovely way to end. But before we go, Prerna,
homework for me as well.
We would some homework for Julia. We'd love to hear if people, listen to this episode and they just thought, wow, Prerna's amazing. I really want to know more of where I can find out about her or I want to work with her. Yeah. Where can people find out about your stuff?
Hear more about joy.
Thank you so much. Yes, the goal is to replace stress with joy. Togetherwegrow.online is my website. I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook. I have a YouTube channel with a few short videos in there. There's lots of free downloads on the website. And happy to come and speak to anybody anywhere. I travel around the world. So if you have a pretty place, reach out. I'd be more happy to come if you have a pretty place.
When the bar is Hawaii, I feel like a few of our listeners might be a bit worried if they can they can meet that. But
I like the idea of Marie Kondoing speaking engagements though. Does this place spark joy? No, I shan't be speaking there.
It's so funny. Yeah, no, it's not. That's not it. I just want the message out, and I just want the message out that how important are the early years, and we have a golden opportunity to bring joy in our home and joy in our classrooms, and it takes self-awareness to get us there, and we owe it to the next generation to do better, right? We can't just raise them in stress. It's not okay.
Amazing.
Absolutely. I think that's a message we can all get behind.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much, Prerna.
that.
That was, I feel like, the first episode where me and Julia got a bit of therapy and we were put under the mic, and I like that.
Yeah.
Turning the tables.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for the questions. And
Have a great rest of your day, Prerna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a beautiful episode that was. That was me breathing, Julia.
I love that. I've learned something new about breathing. Also, lovely little therapy session there.
It was the first time I feel like we got Louis Theroux a little bit. You know how when people try and ask Louis Theroux questions and he just bounces it back always to them.
Yeah, I felt like we were interviewing her and suddenly, bam, she was
Before
interviewing
I knew
us. Yeah.
And we had an awkward lettuce moment, didn't we?
Oh, we did. Run that back if you're interested in seeing.
I went for the fist bump.
And I went
Julia
for the
went for the high five.
Yeah.
And we had a
dear.
lettuce.
It's a bit elderly of me.
Not good. So what did you think about the episode? What did you think about Prerna?
I loved it. I thought she had some really interesting things to say. I thought there were some really nice practical takeaways. I'm going to remember doing the stop, breathe, anchor. So
Don't anchor before you breathe.
Never anchor before you breathe. Disastrous.
Nice. I thought she had some really nice thoughts on co-regulation with staff, the co-regulation with children. I think all of that work was really good. And of course, just some helpful reminders about how to chill yourself out a bit, actually.
Yeah, I think I could do with some of those.
Yeah, indeed.
But how can people get in touch with us?
If you have any questions, if you have any things you want us to celebrate, if you have any guest suggestions, if you just want to tell us how much you love us and our awful inability to high five at the same time, please send us an email on tinychairpod@family.co.uk. And also just, if you like this podcast, if you've got to this bit in the podcast,
well done.
I'm very impressed.
Thank you.
Give us a review.
Yep, we'd love that. It does help.
Yep, stars, tell your friends,
yes.
Watch our clips on YouTube, all that sort of stuff.
Lovely. Well, I think that's all we've got to say. Oh, deep breaths, lovely. See you next time.
See you next time.